Hi, I am not someone who talks about releases and stuff like that. That's not my kind of content. I always feel icky talking about certain releases. I'm not a news reporter, I'm not media. So for me, why am I going to make content off of it if I'm not someone reporting it? That being said, there are people who actually want to vent about one of their favorites or a certain somebody getting released, and I'm not shitting on that kind of content. I am not. There are some people that just use the releases though to just garner engagement, and I think that's pretty cheap. But for the most part, I think a lot of you guys who make content off of certain wrestlers that are released, I think you guys do it very tasteful. This one I have to talk about because I'm not just going to talk about this release. I'm also going to talk about WWE TKO as a whole and where they're heading towards, because it's a conversation that I have all the time on my stream. I'm always crashing out. This is a conversation that always infuriates me, and it puts me in a very pissy mood because I really don't like the direction where WWE is heading towards. Today, R-Truth tweeted out saying, "I'm sorry to inform you all, I just got released from WWE. I want to thank WWE for the ride, but mostly I want to thank each and every one of you who was along for the ride. Thank you for all the love, support, and appreciation you have given me over the years. Thank you." When I tell you, I wasn't sure if this man was memeing, because we know that R-Truth does that, right? It's like a bit, it's a part of his character where he mixes up the dates or mixes up the names or says something completely ridiculous, but we know at the end of the day, it's him just being a joke, like with Tom and Nick Mysterio. I mean, who else could think of that other than R-Truth? So I'm over here thinking that June 1st, maybe he's doing like a April Fool's Day kind of thing, but on June 1st instead. And it wasn't just me. A lot of the comments were the same way, but I also didn't want to treat it as if it was a joke. So I did comment underneath it saying, I don't know if you're being serious, but if you are, I wish you the best. And if I would have waited just a couple more minutes, because as soon as I posted that comment, all of the media sources were already confirming that he did get released. I saw WWE talent comment and post about R-Truth, because R-Truth is not just a wrestler to us. R-Truth is our nostalgia. R-Truth is our home. He always makes us feel good whenever he's on screen. We have a smile on our faces. He knows how to make us laugh. He knows how to go, what the hell did this man just say? He knows how to bring out so many emotions. He's also broken so many men that I feel like is really hard to break. Like Brock Lesnar, he broke him as well. He even broke character, because R-Truth is just this silly, lovable character. Crazy part that I think a lot of us are sort of digesting is that just had a match with John Cena, and he came out as Ron Cena. Of course, R-Truth comes out as Ron Cena and uses John Cena's theme, by the way. And I'm sure the Ron Cena shirts are doing pretty well. So if anything, that's one thing to look in a positive way, because at least we know that he still will be getting paid from that. There's something sadly poetic about it, because John Cena is his childhood hero, even though R-Truth is older than him. This is John Cena's retirement tour. He's going to retire as soon as his tour is over. Something that was completely unexpected was that shortly after R-Truth wrestled his childhood hero on his retirement tour, R-Truth is also no longer going to be a part of the WWE. And that's why it's so sadly poetic, because John Cena was one of his last matches. And there's a part of me that does feel like they kind of knew that they weren't going to renew his contract, which is why they gave that to him. I don't work for the WWE. I don't know anybody backstage. I don't know R-Truth personally. I don't know. This is from my own lens. I feel like they sort of gave that to him because they knew that they weren't going to renew his contract. Truth could get a Legends contract, but I don't know if R-Truth still wants to wrestle. Maybe he still wants to continue to wrestle. Maybe he wants to focus on his music career. Maybe he wants to go into acting. One thing that I will say, in my opinion, I think would be a total banger is if they do offer R-Truth a Legends contract, I think he should not take it. This is selfish, okay? Because a R-Truth independent run is so money. I can see this man showing up to like GCW and saying, this is R-Truth's MLW debut. It also just depends if like the companies are okay with the other companies, you know, like mentioning competition and stuff like that. I can see him showing up to AEW saying R-Truth has finally made his Ring of Honor debut. Like, I can see all of that happening. And I'm going to compare it to like a Cody Rhodes independent run, not because I'm talking about, oh, this is such a legendary run, look at all these real grabs. I'm mostly talking about like a character in the independent run. Like, I can see this man having the most iconic run, amplifying his R-Truth character. I think that would be legendary, but of course, whatever he decides to do, we will all support him, because as toxic as wrestling fans are, we can agree that when it comes to R-Truth, this man is a national treasure. He is priceless. No one is going to hurt this man. Now, his contract isn't going to be renewed, so he might show up on WWE television still. I don't know to what capacity, because he is such our safe place when it comes to wrestling. Every single time he shows up on screen, he always brightens our day. He's always been that character that we look to not take things so serious, to have a good laugh. I feel like it's very owed to him and to the WWE universe to have a proper goodbye. I want this man in the ring and to have his actual proper goodbye, because no matter what city they're in, that place will not be quiet. There's going to be tears, and there's going to be a lot of respect with whatever R-Truth wants to tell us. Also, R-Truth for the Hall of Fame ASAP, please, because this man did have a Hall of Fame career. Another legend that isn't getting his contract renewed is Carlito as well. I get tired of them bringing certain people back, but then they don't know what to do with them, so they just kind of put him in a faction and then they don't do anything, and it's not even the talent's fault, but then they get released because they're like, well, we really don't really have anything for you. Carlito has always been one of my favorites. I marked out when he showed up at Backlash. He's always been one of my damn favorites. He's the only one that I think my mom remembers that is one of my favorite wrestlers. I love Carlito, man. Carlito did just recently win the WWC Puerto Rico Championship, so that's pretty cool. I feel like there's high hopes for him to go elsewhere and continue his legacy. I really like Carlito in the Judgment Day too. I thought his interactions with Raquel Rodriguez were funny. They didn't really go anywhere, which kind of sucks, but I wish they kind of like honed in on that a little more as well. Also a future Hall of Famer, by the way. But Carlito not getting his contract renewed, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. With all the recent releases, I understand that every single year this happens. I'm not saying that this is like a new thing that WWE is doing. I do see a lot of changes though within the WWE. And this is not a video to shit on Triple H, because this isn't a video on his booking. That's a separate video that I'm not doing. But like, if we're talking about this man's booking, I mean, we could shit on him. Triple H doesn't have that much control when it comes to these certain moves. TKO is the giant. TKO is the anomaly. TKO is the head honcho, head boss, whatever you want to call it, TKO. These certain changes in the WWE is all because of TKO. I mean, the ring is looking like a UFC ring now. And although there are releases that we don't understand, I feel like there are more that are happening under the TKO umbrella than there was ever before, because usually there was normally like one that we were always surprised about. Last one to my memory that really hit hard was under the Vince administration, and that one was Bray Wyatt, and that one did not make any damn sense. And I remember just like, what the hell are we doing here? And every single year there's more, and we're always so shocked and kind of like, weren't they a part of a storyline? Like, it happened to Aleister Black as well. Like, wasn't he a part of a storyline? Like, what are we doing here? But I feel like with the recent ones, it hits us even more, because now a majority of people who are fan favorites, and they just get released. I'm not here to put blame on Triple H, because I know it's TKO. I don't work for the company. I don't know what really happens and I don't work for the company. I really don't know what happens in those boardrooms. I don't know what happens in those meetings. I have no damn clue. I'm not here to pretend that I'm like this news outlet or media source. It does feel like TKO just really wants wrestling fans to be weeded out in a certain way. And they want to bring in a whole new audience of just celebrities, of people who have money, basically like the elite. Because TKO just brings in some podcasters and social media influencers that have no damn clue what's going on in the WWE. They get fed a script just because they bring in some sort of face value. Like Andrew Schultz, I've seen his podcast. I know, I've seen those clips. I know he doesn't know WWE, but when he was there, he was like, well, yeah, like I'm here to see Seth Rollins, AJ Styles. You don't know who they are. You don't know who they are. That line was fed to you and you're lying through your teeth. We had Tom Segura show up as well, who famously already talked down about wrestling in general, but also talked down about the WWE. But they're the ones that are getting backstage passes. They're the ones who are getting free tickets to the show just because they bring in some sort of clout and just because having their face brings them some kind of value. But then the wrestlers themselves can't even bring in their own damn family for free. Or if those rules only apply to the majority of the locker room, but if you're like the top talent, then you can bring your family. I have no damn clue. But when wrestlers can't even bring their own family to the events for free, that gives no hope for like the WWE fandom. I can't even expect cheaper ticket prices. I've said this so many damn times. I will not be paying these ticket prices. The next event that I will be going to is Worlds Collide because it's actually pretty affordable. So if you're there, I will see you there. But Money in the Bank is here in Los Angeles. I'm not going. I refuse to pay that amount of money. I refuse to put it on a credit card. I refuse to go in debt for a company that is price gouging the crap out of tickets right now, and they're paying and bringing in certain people that don't even care about the product itself, but because they got a certain amount of clout, they get free tickets. When I said that I wasn't going to do it, I'm not freaking doing it. They are really heading towards something that isn't for the fans anymore, to rip a WrestleMania off of a city, because you're talking about a city that was ready to receive WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania. There's a lot that goes into it. So people book their hotels a year in advance just to make sure that they have their hotel booked. You are not for the fan anymore. You're not. You're not. The one thing that I will say about Triple H was that Triple H said that we need to shut up and not have so many opinions. And I get that to an extent, but when you're but when your company has WrestleMania tickets for like $4,000 damn dollars, and people are paying good money to be there, to attend, to be a part of WrestleMania, not to mention WWE World, because I think you got to pay 80 or 100 to get in. I don't really know about the price point. And then you have to pay extra to meet the wrestlers, which I get. WrestleCon is the same thing. You pay to get in, and then you pay to meet the wrestlers. I understand that. But the prices that the WWE World was offering, they were like $500-$600 for a meet and greet, where once you get there, you have people rushing you because it's their job to make sure that the line is moving, but you're paying $500-$600 for like a 20-second interaction. Sure, you do have a picture which can last a lifetime, but at the same time, that is so much money. And I think that WWE World is ran by fanatics, and it seems like it's the case with everything, right? Well, it's not WWE's fault because WWE World is ran by fanatics. It's not WWE's fault because when it comes to the ticket prices, it's really not WWE's fault because they're ran by TKO. It seems like that's always the answer. And at some point, you really have to think, if your fandom that has been riding with you for years, for decades, I've been watching since I was a child, and I was able to go to a lot of events in my adult life. The last one that I did go to was SummerSlam in Cleveland, and I think that's the last one for a while. Besides Worlds Collide, if you do see me at any event, it's probably because I'm sponsored. Why am I going to drop thousands of dollars, hundreds of dollars for a nosebleed seat for a company that really seems like they only care about celebrities, they only care about the clout, they don't even care if you're an actual fan, they just want you to be there because it truly does feel like they're weeding out the fans.